Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Harrison Grant. Let's talk about some Chiefs news and really react to the Orlando Brown press conference as he was introduced by the Kansas City Chiefs today and met with the local media there in Kansas City. And to say the least, he is pretty fired up to be protecting Patrick Mahomes. He was brought in today, showed up with the fancy outfit, had a foxtail with him. Not really sure what that's all about, but he's clearly excited to be in Kansas City. He wanted to play left tackle, and that's what he will play with the Chiefs starting this year and hopefully for a very, very long time. Talked about chasing greatness and how he doesn't feel he's anywhere near what his peak could be at some point in the future. Quote, Orlando Brown had this to say, "I want to be here for a long time. Going to make sure I take care of my part. I look forward to keeping Mahomes clean, whether he has a broken leg, healthy ankle, whatever the deal is. I look forward to keeping him clean. He shouldn't have to run around because of me, period." So Orlando Brown is making it very, very clear that he is going to protect the Chiefs' $500 million investment, which is why Brett Veach decided to trade for the 24-year-old rising offensive tackle. Because, hey, we saw what happened in the Super Bowl. You got to protect Patrick Mahomes, and Orlando Brown is going to help Kansas City do that for a very, very long time. Are you excited to have Orlando Brown Jr. in Kansas City? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm fired up. You guys should be fired up as well. If you're excited about it, go ahead and type your Y for yes. If you're weird or maybe you're not a Chiefs fan and you're watching this video, maybe you're a Ravens fan, type in for no. But hey, I think we're all pretty excited about this. Subscribe to Chat Sports because, hey, it's draft week. 3 days from now, we will be live on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. You see the link below, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Live coverage of every single round, every single pick for all 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We've had the #1 draft coverage on YouTube the last couple of years, so go ahead and get subscribed. You see the link below. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. You look at the offensive line depth chart for the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is a major upgrade from what we saw toward the end of last year. Orlando Brown, Joe Thuney, Austin Blythe, all new guys. LDT and Kyle Long going to compete at right guard. Mike Remmers and Lucas Niang going to compete at right tackle. But you add Orlando Brown to this unit, and you're feeling much better than how you felt toward the end of last season, in which Mahomes was getting killed by Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive linemen. Now, as far as a contract goes, I thought they'd get a contract extension done right away, but both sides apparently have agreed to shelving those until after this season. Sam Mellinger, who covers the Chiefs, said the plan is for Orlando Brown to play out the last year of his rookie deal. He and the Chiefs will talk about an extension next offseason once he has a full season at left tackle and the cap goes up. Franchise tag is expected to be about $16.5 million next year, so for some reason they can't come to an agreement. They can tag him for $16.5 million. Keep in mind, don't panic, the cap is going to skyrocket next year. This is a business-savvy move, and quite frankly, what it tells me is maybe that means Kansas City is going to prioritize signing Tyrann Mathieu to an extension before this season is up. That way they can focus on Orlando Brown more next offseason. That way they don't have to focus on more than one big-name player. I'm not worried about this. You don't trade for a 24-year-old offensive tackle if you don't plan on keeping him long-term. This is just a business move on both sides. Hey, let's see how much the cap goes up. Let's see how you play in your first full year in our system at left tackle, and then we will get a deal done. So no issues on that front. You can tell he's fired up. Go listen to his press conference. He's excited to be there, and he should be because he knows this team's going to be competing for Super Bowls. Also on today's Kansas City Chiefs report, second-round draft targets. I wanted to take a look at 20 players, kind of rapid fire here, that Kansas City could draft in the second round because now the Chiefs have a pair of second-round picks. Obviously, they traded their first-round pick in the Orlando Brown trade, so now they have 2 second-round picks, number 58 overall, number 63 overall. Don't expect Brett Veach to trade up. You're down to 6 draft picks. I don't think he's going to try to move up unless just he feels like a home run pick falls to early in the second round or something like that. But I think he will either keep those 2 picks or maybe even trade down for one of those. But now that you have 2 picks right near each other toward the end of the second round, there's still some good players that Kansas City could target, and we'll talk about those in just a second. Who should the Chiefs draft in round 2? What are you guys feeling on that one? Just name a player, name 2 players, name however many you want. Who should the Chiefs draft in the second round? We've talked about biggest needs, cornerback now, edge. Wide receiver is a need. Linebacker, center, if you still want to go in that direction. Let me know, who should the Chiefs draft in round 2? So let's look at some receivers first. Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC. We've seen him mocked to Kansas City before in the second and in the third round. Bigger guy, 6'1", 195, would give Kansas City a different look. I think he could be an intriguing player. Dyami Brown out of North Carolina, similar built there, 6'1", 190, 185. Productive season last year for the Tar Heels. They had almost 1,100 yards, had 8 touchdowns as well. He's been rising up draft boards. I think he would be an intriguing player for Kansas City. Kadarius Toney. Don't think he'll fall late in the second round, but maybe if the Chiefs love him, you can trade up a little bit, maybe like 10 picks. Say he falls to late 40s, early 50s, you could go target him if you want. If he's there at 58 or 63, I think it's great value. And I think that's also true with Rondale Moore out of Purdue. If this guy is there with one of those second-round picks, he fits the mold of what the Chiefs have done in recent years at receiver. Small, but explosive, very fast, great after the catch. I think he would fit like a glove in Kansas City's offense. Now, out of these 4 players, who would you target if you were the Kansas City Chiefs? Type S for Amon-Ra St. Brown, type T for Kadarius Toney, type B for Dyami Brown, or type M for Rondale Moore. I think they're all good players. They all bring you a little bit something different to the table. Get your votes in, S, T, B, or M. Then we'll look at a couple of tight ends. Pat Freiermuth out of Penn State. Obviously, you've got Travis Kelce, but A, he's not going to play forever, and B, the Chiefs haven't had kind of a steady number 2 tight end in a while. I think he would be a fun player that could groom under Kelce, and I think a player that could actually do some damage in this offense. Brevin Jordan, I think the same deal. I'm high on him. Now, maybe he's more of a third-round guy. Maybe he's more of a trade-down type of target. Maybe you trade 58 or 63, get a third-round pick, and take a player like Brevin Jordan, but I like Freiermuth. I like Jordan. I think the Chiefs could take a look at adding to their tight end room in this year's draft. Now, subscribe to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, because I told you guys that we'll be live on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel during the entire draft, but we'll also have videos here on this channel during the draft, Chiefs draft picks, if they make any trades. We'll cover it, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, and of course, daily videos leading up to the draft and videos after as well. We'll do draft grades. It'll be a lot of fun. Oh, and stay tuned. Final Chiefs mock draft on Wednesday. We're going to do it. youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Let's take a look at a couple of center options here. Landon Dickerson, a player we've talked about. He's torn his ACL twice. It's a little bit of a concern. I wouldn't have taken him in round 1, but if he's there in round 2, he could sit for a year behind Austin Blythe, and then you've got your center for the foreseeable future. Quinn Miners, the Wisconsin Whitewater product, Division III football. We haven't talked about him much, but he's been moving up boards. I'd like him as a center, but he could play some guard as well, so he could be an option. Also, then Creed Humphrey out of Oklahoma. Don't think he'll be here on the board. Don't really think Dickerson will be either, if we're being completely honest. But I wouldn't be opposed to Kansas City drafting a center in round 2, basically redshirting him for a year, and then you've got your center for the next decade. I think that's definitely a possibility. Should the Chiefs draft a center in the second round? Type D for draft, type P for pass. Get your votes in on this one. What do you guys think about the Chiefs drafting a center? Let's go to cornerback now. Asante Samuel Jr., obviously the son of Asante Samuel, who had a great NFL career. I like him as a nickel guy, so if you're comfortable with L'Jarius Sneed at outside corner, you can roll with either Charvarius Ward, or if you re-sign Bashaud Breeland as your other outside guy, then you got Samuel in the nickel, and then Rashad Fenton, your number 4 corner, so that's definitely an option. Eric Stokes out of Georgia, one of the 2 Georgia corners that could go in round 2. Good player last year, 4 picks, 4 pass breakups. I like the size at 6'1", $185. Has some issues tracking the ball at times, but I think that's something he can improve on. Ifeatu Melifonwu out of Syracuse, 6'3", 215. He's got really, really good size. Now, he needs to get a little bit quicker, but as a physical outside corner type, I like him quite a bit. I think he can continue to develop. Paulson Adebo out of Stanford. He was getting some first-round buzz last year, opted out of 2020, probably more of a second- or third-round guy now. But 6'1", almost 200 pounds. Again, he's a physical player. I like him quite a bit. And then Tyson Campbell, the other corner out of Georgia, 6'2", 185. He's also got good length there as well. A little bit more raw, but I think he can be a good NFL corner at some point. Now, pick an option. Would you rather the Chiefs re-sign Bashaud Breeland? If so, type 1, or draft a corner in round 2? If so, type 2. Obviously, you could do both. You could re-sign Breeland and draft a corner. But if you re-sign Breeland, I think you're kind of covered off on corner this year. Because remember, you got DeAndre Baker also. He could develop and be a starter, potentially. You got Travarius Ford. You got L'Jarius Sneed, Rashad Fenton. So if you bring back Breeland, you may not need a corner. Get your votes in, 1 for yes or 2 for no. Couple of edge players here. Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. He opted out of this season. Did not test that well at his pro day. He's still getting some first-round buzz, but if he falls to the second round, 6'6", 260, fits the mold of what Spags likes out of his defensive ends, that could be a possibility there. Joe Tryon out of Washington, he also opted out. I think he would have benefited from playing this year. Could have been a first-round type of guy. He's gotten some round one buzz, 6'5", 262. He's a good athlete. I wouldn't have taken him in round one. If he's there in round two, though, I definitely would. Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma. I've watched him quite a bit, living in Big 12 country. Good player. Can play. He can drop into coverage a little bit as well. He's decent at that. So I don't mind Ronnie Perkins for Oklahoma. So he's another edge target as well. We've got some linebackers, obviously, which could be an option in round two. Nick Bolton out of Missouri, obviously played locally at the University of Mizzou. Can blitz a little bit as well, decent in coverage. A little undersized, but that's kind of where the linebacker position is going anyway. Baron Browning out of Ohio State, the former 5-star recruit. Never really put it all together for the Buckeyes, but incredible athlete, and the tools are there. It's just can an NFL coaching staff put those tools to good use? We'll have to wait and see. Jabril Cox out of LSU, 6'4", 231. I know you guys took him in our fan-led mock draft on our community post tab. Unfortunately, that draft fell apart because the Chiefs traded a bunch of picks for Orlando Brown, so we had to cut that a little bit short, but he could be an option at linebacker in round two as well. All right, there you have it. A little bit of rapid fire. 20 players the Chiefs could target in the second round of the NFL draft. What is the Chiefs' biggest need entering the draft as we sit right now? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And, hey, you see the link, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Live NFL draft coverage for all 3 days of the draft. And, hey, join us then. We'll see you.